Welcome back, everybody. Today we have a little hack for iPhone Lightning to HDMI adapters. I know these are old school, but there are a lot of people that still use these, especially if they have vision impairments. They use these in order to put the text up on their display, their TV or whatever, so they can read stuff. And the problem with these things, as you can see, this is a brand new one, just picked it up today. So the main problem with these is this cable is super cheap made. I have 2 or 3 more of these in the living room in a drawer that I have done this trick to, but I waited until they actually started having issues before I did it. And I swore if I bought another one, I was going to do this hack first thing before I even began to use it. So, here is the hack. This is what is referred to as heat shrink tubing. If you're not familiar with this, they make this and it is a certain size. They heat it up and stretch it, and then they cool it. It becomes this size. When you heat it up again, it has memory and it shrinks back down. So this piece may not be big enough. Now that I'm looking at this, I may have to grab another piece. Yeah, I need a little bit bigger piece to go over this connector. I'll grab that and I'll be right back. All right, as you can see, heat shrink tubing comes in different sizes, different colors. I think if you really looked into it, there's probably different temperature ranges too. So this piece was 1/4 inch. This piece is 3/8. 3/8 should be big enough to clear that connector. There we go. Okay. Now, while I'm thinking of it, word of warning. If you get heat shrink tubing, store it indoors. Do not leave it somewhere like out in the garage where it gets hot, because over time it gets warm enough that it slowly gets smaller and smaller, and it'll still work, but you can tell a piece of heat shrink tubing that has been out in the heat for several years, because this is real soft and pliable and it will get stiffer. And if you measured it, I'm pretty sure you could see the difference. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to slide that over. We're going to cut it so that it is just long enough to get not quite all the way up the connector. And we're going to put that on there. Now, to shrink this, you can use a heat gun if you have one. Obviously, be careful with plastic parts. You can use a hair dryer, but it takes longer. It's a little safer, but it takes longer. Go-to method for a lot of people is a lighter. If you have a soldering station, they have a little heat gun on them. You can use that. I'm just going to use the lighter. So again, this part is pretty well armored. This is the cable that just quits working. They are just so flimsy, it's ridiculous. So we're going to put this all the way up against there. We're going to cut it right about there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2 pieces, because I think I can get 2 pieces on there. And then we'll get this out of the way. All right. So it's real simple. You literally just slide it on there. That could have been just a hair longer, but that's okay. All right. We're going to heat it up. You don't need to keep the flame in one spot very long. You just want to work it around. If you want to shrink a little bit more in an area, just heat it up a little bit more in that area. And if you're using a lighter, there will be black spots on here. That is from the carbon. Kind of like If you burn a candle or you have an oil lamp, you'll get carbon, the soot. That is what that is, okay? That's not anything to worry about. Okay, we're working all around. Like there's some of the black. That will come off. Wait until it's cool to do it though. Okay, so we have now armored that. Now, if you try to slide this on while that's still hot, it will transfer heat to this. They will start shrinking, or this one will start shrinking. They'll start shrinking together, and it just makes it harder to get it on there. So that is pretty well done. Okay, you can see some of the black is coming off. I mean, literally, it just wipes right off. Okay. Okay, it is warm to the touch, but we should be able to get this on here. So we're going to go with another layer. Okay. I'm going to slide it down just a little bit. I guess I'll leave it about the same. All right, we'll do it again. So again, just keep the flame moving. You can see how it heats, how it shrinks. Let me see if I can get it to where you can really see it shrink. See how it just shrinks with the flame. Okay, again, keep it moving. Work your spots until they're all shrunk. Okay. And if you didn't know, if you keep a lighter lit like this too long, it will overheat and the plastic will start melting, and the spring that holds the flint up in place will push that striker wheel out and it will fly. Not to mention that striker wheel will get super hot and it will burn you. So now what we have done is we have effectively just about doubled the amount of insulation around that cable. Okay, and as it's still warm to the touch. As it cools off, it will get just a little bit stiffer. But anyway, guys, that is a way to prolong the life of just about anything, but especially these with this super chintzy cable right here that is basically designed to fail, because these are 50 bucks. Now, here's another hack. I went online, I got this at Best Buy. $50, $49.99 regular price. This was an open box. I looked at it. There is no scratches, no nothing. It has not, if it's been plugged in, I would not believe it. This was $34.99. So check for open box. You can always reject it once you get there if you don't like the way it looks, and save yourself some money. So guys, there's your hack. Now, it's been a long week and my knees are hurting, so I'm going to go put this thing to use and kick back in the recliner. Watch me some YouTube.